What's going on, guys? Sam with Sam's Man Tree Service. This is our first full week after running the BIKTC 104. I want to do a video explaining some of the misconceptions and the learning curves I've had. So when you buy a knuckle boom, or if your business is buying a knuckle boom, you have these in your head. I wish some people told me, well, it's not like they didn't tell me any of this. It's just something that you wouldn't even think of to ask, or you wouldn't even think of to know. Or it's a misconception in my head. So overall, the buying process is great. The truck is great. The build is great. We haven't had a single issue with any of the build or the components. What we are applying in our business is what we are seeing the difference between this and a stick crane. Not per se misconceptions, but differences between the crews and the cranes and the type of jobs these trucks like. So I'll get this right out the way. The 104 or any knuckle boom has all H-beam outriggers. I'm coming from an A-frame stick crane. These are way simpler to set up. These outriggers are, well, actually they're not so simpler, but they're way more easy to set up. You know, there's a little bit more moving parts here. You have a diverter valve. You have, for the cylinders here, you have diverter valves on both these mains. So it's a little bit more of a process to get these set up, but it's way easier because you're on the ground. You don't have to jump up on the crane deck. You can just set these levers, and you can watch exactly where that outrigger goes in case you're close to like a building or a gutter or something like that. So it's super nice to have those. These do take more time to set up because there's 4 of them on this side and there's 2 up front. And you have to flip the valve, and you have to flip the outrigger, and it comes out. These do take a little bit more time to set up. There is a factor of setup with keeping the tires on the ground. Sometimes it's really good. Sometimes it's kind of a pain. As we learn, we are getting really fast with them, so I'm not too concerned about that. But it is a different setup and criteria for the setup. Just a learning curve, which we've handled pretty well. The main thing is that we've realized is instead of trying to set up and set your tires down on cribbing, just drive up on the cribbing and then set it up. Super fast. But setup is a little bit slower. Attaching the mech head is actually not that bad. The first few times I did it, it was so stressful. I was like, man, this sucks. Like, I almost don't even want a mech head. And the main thing is when it's brand new, this has like, it's so tight of a clearance of a fit. It is kind of a pain in the butt to hook up. And the instructors did explain that to us. The quick connect is like the fastest thing ever. I'm putting those on all of our skid steers because they're awesome. The fast system. So that's a little bit of a learning curve for us. The other thing is the knuckle booms can set up on the outriggers you only need. So if you need to work off the left, you can set up the left all the way out and keep the ones on the right in a little bit. But you do have to put them down still. So, because as this boom rocks back, you need stability. So you could work 100% off this side, 100% of the outriggers are out. You still have to put these out as much as you can and fold them down and put pressure on them. You still have to have pressure on these. That's good. What is a little bit hard to kind of wrap my head around, and you know, we've been trained and we understand, but it's still mind-numbing of like what these trucks can do and how you get them to do it. So on stick cranes, the setups are very rock solid. 1 degree level. Okay, that's all. These are 5 degrees. You're allowed up to 5 degrees unlevel. But then you start doing that and you're like, really? Are we really allowed to do 5 degrees? It's you can, you know, but it's also not recommended. You try to keep it out of that. So we've had a few setups, and I've even called some of the guys over at New Jersey Crane. I'm like, hey man, I just want to double check something. I sent them pictures of the setup, and they're like, yeah, you're solid, man. I'm like, are you sure? Like, that's kind of weird. Like, I'm level this way, but not this way. He's like, are you working on that side? I'm like, no. He's like, you're fine. It's definitely, I mean, within the 5 degree mark. So, like, getting a feel for that, I guess, just comes with time. Because you're not going to be on a perfect level every time. Actually, we've only been perfectly level 2 jobs out of, like, the 10 we've done. And the truck's been rock solid, you know. So, there is a little bit of a learning curve with that. I think there's a misconception that with the knuckle booms, they are just faster with everything. And listen, I think they can be faster depending on your crew. So the nice thing about this is we did a job where we had the climber going up a few of these other trees on the left, and there was a big dead tree on the right. While he was doing the trimming and the removals of these smaller trees, I was working on this big nasty dead tree. And when I was finished with that, I boomed over and helped him on these other trees. That was really fast, and that was really efficient. I had people working. I will say, if you're close to the tree and you have a good setup, my stick crane is faster than this. If you're close to the tree, if you have an easy setup to get the outriggers level, and if you have ground guys to support it. So where this thing, I think, shines is we've noticed no difference on a job. We were working a big job yesterday where we had 5 guys. We had all 5 of our guys. And we have 2 jobs after this. And I looked at them, and they're not really doing much. I was like, hey, guys, we're taking some big picks, guys. I'm like, hey, how about the other 2 guys that we were with? How about you guys go grind those stumps on the next job and clean them up? So we sent 2 guys away, and my arm's killing me. We sent 2 guys away, and I noticed 0 difference in production with having more ground guys. Versus if we were running a stick crane, you need those extra 2 guys on the ground. So we only had 1 ground guy, 1 climber, and 1 guy was going to the dump and shipping and such. So you need less people to be efficient, which is really good because now you can split up crews. You're saving on labor costs. These are faster if you're at radius. Knuckle booms are always better at radius, like 60 feet plus. This thing smokes my crane all day long. But if you're close to it, I think my stick crane is a little bit faster, but requires more support. So the other thing that they don't tell you, well, they do tell you, and they told me this. Running a knuckle boom is a lot more stressful with the actual functions than it is a stick crane. A stick crane has 4 levers. You got winch up, winch down. You got boom left, boom right. You got telescope in and telescope out, which you really don't mess with much. And you got boom up, boom down. So you got 4 levers. There are 8 on this knuckle boom, and plus the 3 for the mech head. So there's 8. There's 11 buttons to hit, and you better hit the right one, or you might hit a house, or you might hit a tree, or you might hit a climber, or you might damage all your hoses that are exposed, or your reel that is exposed. And when you're running this, you better make sure the piece you take does not hit your hoses. You can brush up against them. I mean, there's strong hydraulic hoses, but there's a lot of moving functions. It's fine. It's something, you're going to get used to, but I definitely see, I talked to a buddy who bought one of these cranes, actually they're pretty much the exact same crane. And after about a month or 2, he ended up putting it for sale. I was like, why, dude? They're awesome. And they are. And he's like, it's just not for me. And I absolutely see why. It's definitely a learning curve, and I think it's a little bit of a test of how patient you are, because you will get it eventually, and it is a very efficient tool, and we're absolutely in love with it. I just wanted to kind of do a video to get those little misconceptions out, and just to help people who might be wanting to buy one, because it is a huge purchase. This is probably one of the biggest purchases a tree service is ever going to make. All these trucks are over $300,000. You could buy a land and a shop for that much money. I mean, maybe not land and a shop, but there's a lot that goes to it, guys. But it is stressful, but it's also very rewarding when you start getting good at it and you start balancing every piece and the pieces come off really nice. And it's very satisfying using the mech head. We ended up buying bigger outrigger pads, so the ones they provide you from Dyka are really good, but these are not per se one all be alls. Those are good if you're on like solid ground, if you know it's solid. We set up in lawns all the time. We don't know if it's 42-inch round pads, 2 inches thick. We put these for the floats. These are pretty good. I'd get the recessed ones. And we have these cribbing blocks. These are actually super nice. We got these from Mighty Products. All these are from Mighty Products. They're really, really good blocks, actually. And we have some basic cribbing. And these are, I recommend everyone to cut some small 2x8s, 2x6s, just to level out your pads a little bit better. So after a week of owning this, it's been very fun. it's been very stressful. There's a lot to worry about, and you have to have a responsible operator for sure. There's a lot that moves on these things, and they're fast too. So if you accidentally hit that main boom down, the bottom boom, you're moving all 100 feet of boom in 1 second, and it's fast. The remote, though, has a lot of settings on it where you can adjust. So, I mean, if you run it on slow, it's real smooth. Like, you're not going to have any issues. So, on the ground, on the lawns and stuff, this truck's really nice, guys. That's why we have the extra axle. It's a really nice truck on the lawns. So, overall, we're really happy with the purchase, but I want to do a quick overview on some of the common, 1 week after I've owned it, how do I feel about it? We like it, and here we are. So peace out, guys. Thank you for watching.